teams faced off against each other. It was a best of 3, obviously. It went to full distance. It was a late night ordeal, but it was really super, super close. These two teams generally go toe-to-toe when it comes to best of 3s, Kyle.
Oh, for sure. I think that they're a lot of fun. I think that when they're on form, these two teams are some of the best, most fun to watch. I'd say they're also the more volatile teams in this bracket.
Yep.
I think that's looking at the roster changes that Curl and the guys recently made. A lot of that has to do with, I think, making it so that it's a much more streamlined approach to the game. Miro can play like 30 different heroes. They can play a lot faster, it feels like, with him in that position.
Yeah.
And then Liquid,
they need to find themselves,
Yeah.
Like last season, they did lose a little bit at the start, and then they found themselves, and surprise, bam, at the major. That can't be the same story for season 2. They've had their 1 week of just, question mark. They now need to have, an actual identity. Otherwise, it's going to be too bad.
They're like watching one of those underdog sports dramas, but like in action. Because a lot of their wins, I don't want to say they were gimmicky, but, there was a couple matches last season that a rapier purchase was the reason for them pulling it out in the end. They're picking Broodmother, Oracle Huskar,
Sure, gimmicky, but they are also the team that you can't really call it gimmicky if they do it all the time.
True.
Right? It's like they can
I also
expect
feel
that.
like they don't really lean on that too much anymore.
Yeah.
Like Liquid, come on. Like, they can play the heroes, but...
When's the last time Lone Drake won?
Yeah, like they...
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to...
used to be a first 2 ban.
If anything, I'd actually go against you and say they need to start picking more of these heroes. They need to start leaning into that a little bit more. When they don't have an identity, they need to actually get these heroes into the game.
Can we see them beat Nigma straight up when we expect them to come out playing much like they did?
Maybe. Let's start talking about Team Nigma first, because, the showing that they had last Saturday was insane. They obviously had their first series, the first official series with ILTW.
They need to start picking more.
And we talked to Kuro after the series because it was a win, and he said, this first series, the only thing that he was not necessarily concerned about, but that was on his mind, is like ILTW has a lot of pressure on him. How will he deal with that pressure? We saw how he dealt with that pressure. He thrived on it. He crushed that game. The series was... It was the Nigma of old. It was the Team Liquid that people were hoping for all season long previous season, but never really showed up to.
Yeah, exactly. It's that series showed a team that can play from behind and win the game, but then also crush the game from minute 0.
Yeah.
The game that you're mentioning, the first one, the Juggernaut RTW, he only died once, but he doesn't go for a farming item, goes for SMY. They're down 10k, but they're grouping up. Their ability to play as 5, just completely outsmarted Secret. And of course, game 2, we've all seen that. Yeah. The mid Sand King, it was just amazing. So new energy in Nigma. It's so refreshing to see.
Yeah, and he gets a lot of flack, but I think Mind Control has been one of the most consistent offlaners. It's just that a lot of time last season, you'd see him just on an island, playing some Tidehunter, left to his own devices, terrible matchup, not getting too much help, nobody stacking for him, and then chat, where's MC? Why isn't he playing like Zai? Well, he wasn't put in a position to do so. You can even see the difference between him playing Darkseer last week versus
it's
the
a
previous
last pick
season.
Darkseer though, right?
Exactly.
Like the draft is so much more refreshing because you can go, we can actually just pick a nice semi-core now.
He has 3 heroes to play around.
Yeah.
He's getting help in his lane. It's like, oh, this is great. I have so many tools at my disposal. And I look at him, GH, and Miracle. These have been 3 of the best players of their positions for years. They just haven't clicked. It hasn't gelled. I think a big part of it, and I was so happy to hear Kuro say it in the interview we did with him, they want to play fast. That's how they like to play. It's like, well, thank God. I think I speak for most of the fan base. We like to see that too. We like to see them ramming themselves down enemies' throats. And if you look at it in their loss to OG, I would say that in a lot of ways, they're trying to make sure that they don't have a repeat of TI9. If they go up against OG again, they want to be able to go toe-to-toe with them pace, not just get blown
that series
over,
is gonna be
bristle
mental.
back in the fountain 20 minutes in.
Oh, that series is going to be disgusting. Like minute 10, just 5 heroes.
I mean, disgustingly good from a viewer perspective.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Just hopefully no one farms. RTW can sneak out and get a gold, and I can do the same. But I want to see in
that case, it would be Thompson doing the same. I remember that Pugna game. He was the only one going for the buildings. I
hit the buildings, you dive the fountain.
They just keep running at us. What do we do?
What do we
Run
do?
back.
Well, they're running back.
So much easier when we think about it.
It really is. Today, we have a little bit of a theme going on with all the content we have. We are diving a little bit deeper into the players' personal side of things. And today, we talked to GH about his personal side of things.
Oh, the bar's trying to... Oh, there's the combo, baby! There's the combo!
Because Dota is our life, so just playing is a small part of our lives together, because I spend time with them more than I spend with my family. They are my second family, and that's why. And sometimes you don't choose your family, but this time I chose my teammates and they chose me, and we're pretty happy together.
That's going to get the jump on ILTW. He needs help, and he needs it now. GH, he's in with a snowball save. That's going to be enough to allow ILTW to get the Blade Fury off. Matthew.
I'm very religious, actually. I have some teammates that are Muslim. I'm Christian. I think if it did anything, is bring us closer together, because at the end of the day, we both religions kind of agree on the same things. I always try to ask as many questions as possible, because I want to see what's inside the mind of my friend and my teammate, and how they live everyday life with their religion too. And I'm happy about this. I'm happy to have them in my life.
Secret's had enough of this one. GG is called as Nigma will take game 1 here.
I love it. You know, different religions can get along. That's an important one. And in general, his Dota team is his family. I think that's what we see time and time again from Team Nigma as well. Even with the release of Weeha from their roster, they still care for him and make sure that he is set up for success in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a precedent set. I mean, even the scenario with Matu, it's the same deal. Like, nobody enjoyed that process. And,
No.
You know, it's not...
He's still in the picture though. Oh no.
Oh.
Well, I wanted to comment on GH.
I tried, I'm sorry.
You can actually, if you shave right now, you can look like ILTW and take the picture for.
Oh my. Oh, we could do that. I'd happily like to be on the roster of Nigma.
Part, unfortunately.
What do you mean? I can hit creep for my
I wanted
team
to come before we
running
moved
at them.
on.
Yeah.
GH is, honest to God, one of the friendliest people in the space. He
Very
talked
nice.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, anytime, I say if I go to Lebanon, I go stay with him and the family, like eat food. Maybe not for Corona. But point being, they're the dinner conversation, you ever hang out with these guys, it's significantly deeper than if you're chilling at the bar with, let's say, Bulba and Arteezy. You know, it's a different kind of conversation you gotta be prepared for.
Let's focus on Team Liquid as well, as they will be the opponents of Team Nigma today. We also dove a little bit deeper on the side of Team Liquid, and we're gonna just start things out with that. We are gonna listen to Taiga and his experience on having this support from his family.
I am from Norway. I grew up in Bergen, like the city of mountains in Norway. That's why it's called Bergen. I have 7 siblings. I have 5 brothers, 2 sisters, so I'm the youngest child. So I always sat in the middle, you know, when it comes to calls, you gotta be in the middle seat. It's also my parents were quite understanding, even though they're like from the old generation. It took some time to like make them agree to understand what it is like to be a gamer. They saw that I had fun in doing what I wanted to do, and as long as I had fun and as long as I could live from it, they're totally fine with it and they're totally supportive.
S4 looking to be able to keep on top of Mickey, but the link is going to be broken once again. The Sonic Wave going to push them all back. Nico, baby.
They always watch me when I play, even at 5 a.m. they will still like watch me. They put like a blanket in front of the TV just to sleep there to watch me at night. They don't really understand Dota. They just see like the colors of the game and they're like tell me some stuff like, you need to pick more green heroes for yourself, like that's when you win the most, like. And then they start like comparing to Dota, so like war strategies, because my dad ran away from the Cold War in Vietnam, and he was like, you know, the way they did it in the Cold War, blah blah blah, invented into Dota. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so they have their own perspectives of Dota. I miss them, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do.
I love seeing all the hoodies on the whole family. Very supportive. Should pick more green heroes was the tip. Not sure about that, but hey, Taika does well in their spirit. So, is your family supportive, T?
Yeah, my dad tries to watch a bit of Dota.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get it, but you know, he knows the heroes.
Yeah.
Timbersaw, his favorite hero. He likes seeing the trees get destroyed. Yeah, that's about it. It's really good when your family also kind of supports you in your bit of gaming. It's a skin thing when Tiger's talking. I think, oh
yeah, it's wholesome.
It's so wholesome. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, let's talk about their performance as well, though, Kyle, because is their performance as wholesome? They have had one series this season. It was against Alliance. It was their first series, and they looked a little shaky.
They did, but I think Alliance also had them in the draft. In the games, the 3 really tanky cores, a really nice DK from Limp. I think a lot of us behind the desk are a bit biased because, you know, we all really like the Liquid guys. The players are some of the friendliest and most fun to work with, and they're legitimately just like kind of bursting with life. I hope that they come in with I don't want to say a rock solid plan necessarily, but I want them to have something special. I don't want to call it, gimmick's the wrong word, but if you think about when they were most dominant, they were using, I don't want to say OP, but like really strong combinations. Willow Mars, right?
Liquid
Slardar
strategies.
Phoenix, Oracle Huskar, you know, a last pick Brood, an early pick Lone Druid. Like, this is what seems to make them tick.
Yeah.
And I want to see something like that today.
Well, I hope that they will get something like that today, because that means we get a good game of Dota ahead. We are very close to the draft of this first game of the best of 3, so stay tuned and get ready for some Dota 2 between Team Nigma and Team Liquid. Game 1 of Team Nigma versus Team Liquid. On your screens right now here, DreamLeague Season 15 powered by Intel, upper division of the Western European DPC League, with such an important game here between these two teams. We talked about it just now, but I want to just reiterate, potentially TI on the line. I mean, it sounds a bit stupid to say that for a group stage game, but that's just the way the season works. And we are well in the draft, actually, already. I'm here with T and Kyle, and please talk to me about the Dota.
Well, I would say, would you like to go first?
I'd start with a ban, if that's okay, Carl.
Sure.
I'd love to just mention, obviously, in the Alliance v Liquid series, Alliance in 3 games banned out Broodmother first phase because they were scared of the potential, new patch, new series, suddenly proves good. It's now been a week since then, and Nigma has decided, you know what? If you want to pick a Brood, we'll let you. They're not so scared of it.
Okay, I would talk about the two distinct styles of these teams. Nigma, historically, focused on speed and movement. A lot of utilization of global teleportation, Wisp and Furion, Earthshaker Tusk, stopping, cutting off choke points, Darkseer, just pace, speed. Liquid, on the other hand, tend to focus more on damage mitigation,
Slow and steady.
damage manipulation.
Entry to the jungle camps, they're a little bit more, slow burner.
It's a abuse. I always use the word abuse, but it's just utilizing mechanics. In this case, Snapfire, Slardar. How much minus armor is that right off the bat?
It's a lot of
absurd.
minus armor.
It's like 16 level 1 Slardar ulti plus the Shredder attacks. So now all of a sudden your range carry, or whatever carry you end up picking, it's going to feel pretty damn good. And this is how they typically open a draft when their fundamentals are strong. And I like it a lot. Question is, where will it go? They ban out the Sand King and the Troll. A lot of respect to the Miracle Sand King. I've even seen this banned in some Division 2 games in other regions. I don't know if it's actually good, but...
Well, think of the flex potential, and also I just like the idea of Sand King mid if against certain melee heroes. In just the bubble of the 1v1, it can dumpster. Sand King is weaker when you're sharing XP, you're playing into, range support plus core. So there are scenarios where it actually is really strong. I like from Liquid, you mentioned the whole minus armor. Think about how Nigma beat Secret. The high pace, they're clumping the fight. Imagine if they ever lose a fight as Nigma. Not only will they now, be down on kills, they're going to give away free Roshan if Liquid are able to position the correct fight.
Yep, that goes back to I don't think we've mentioned it this season, but I'm sure we will multiple times in the future.
Oh, I'm excited, Carl.
The Bulba mantra, okay? Which team requires fewer team fights won to win the game? Whenever you have a Slardar, you can just shorten that number required by 1 or 2, because that straight up opens Roche for you. Any team fight, 15 minutes plus, that's a dead Roche.
And there's the Broodmother now in the second phase. Nigma, they're not too scared of a first phase Brood, but obviously second phase, give it a little bit more respect.
I will say the Troll and Razor bans lead me to believe Liquid might be thinking Sven. That's always been one of my favorite combinations with Slardar, because you have A, a hero that can eat stacks, and B, the BKB timing plus Slardar minus armor, you win the fight. Like, there is no... You can have good matchups, but end of the day, Sven will kill you if you give him 3 or 4 smacks.
And we know that Team Liquid likes this Sven. Mickey likes this Sven.
They do indeed. PA is also a definite possibility, but I don't think they would have banned Razor if that was the case, although they could also just respect the safe lane Razor. I think it's one of those heroes as well for Nigma in their current form. These side laners that can be more independent allow Kuro and GH to play more around Miracle and mid.
Also, when Liquid's picked Snapfire before, haven't they been putting it on Mickey as well,
Yes.
giving more of a win condition to Quake for, or at least a timing to play around?
Yes, but I think that was a different time. Ooh. We have not seen this. I have only seen this played by one person across all regions, and that was Eternal Envy.
Did it work out?
No, it did not.
Because I know, for example, Scriff loved Luna.
Yeah, well, you farm.
I say loved because he loved the spell build before the patch, and he says he can't play it anymore.
No, yeah,
Not
because you
good.
have to buy, like, Dragonlance, first off, is really good. T's been pretty vocal about that. The stat bonuses were buffed, so it's now one of the most cost gold-efficient items in game.
Yeah, T.
Yeah, I know. I think ranged cause all the in.
Yeah, Manta, we talked
I think
about
Brian
it.
did that as well.
It's a Manta hero. The damage was increased, or sorry, the damage taken was reduced from your illusions, and it's the same cooldown as the melee version.
Yeah, I think Liquid, this is one of those, when you get away from kind of the tier 2 teams trying to aspire to be tier 1, etc. These teams that, if at the major, they should have strong showings. Liquid looked at Nigma not for the heroes they pick, but for the style they play. We mentioned already the quick Roshan after a fight. Now they have the anti-run at us Dota, the casual warlock.
Well, we say that, but the thing is, if they end up scattering, the retreat will be compromised because it's going to be a Darkseer Tusk chasing after 2 supports that effectively just don't really have much to say or do about that. In addition, Darkseer, really nice against Slardar because you have a natural Greaves buyer. You're going to likely get a Solar Crest at some point as well. You do a lot to boost the defensive capabilities of your core. Sven?
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh.
I won 2 games yesterday in the hands of OG and Alliance.
I will make...
This is so slow, this draft. Oh my god.
We described coming into the series, we're like, okay, Nigma, high pace, Kuroki, he wants to come out swinging, punching his opponent. Liquid, they're like, they're slow. It's like a lazy river. They're making their
putting on body
stacks.
armor.
They're happy. They're not even ready for war yet. Minute 30, then they come in. This is exactly what's happening here.
Wait.
Nigma, high pace, Liquid, big cooldowns, could be punished. Great
Question
late game.
though.
Go on.
Because when we saw both OG and Alliance play that Faceless Void, it did not look slow at all. They were able to make it work with...
It's the Warlock and the Slardar.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's the accompanying factor. So like in the game that OG had Void, there wasn't enough damage to kill the Void, so he could by himself play up in the face. He didn't need his team. He also had like 3 or 4 damage amps, so he didn't need Chrono because he had this immense right click. This is a kind of different style of Void game where he is the setup for his team to also throw damage in.
Yeah, but the Warlock is the thing because both... Do you really want to fight with Chrono or Golem on cooldown? Or you're going to use both? Like, it just makes it really complicated for Liquid unless their mid-hero is perfect, and they will have to pick first out of this phase, but it has to be something with no it can't run on gas. All right, we don't got time to fuel up. We need this to be solar powered at all times, running on runes, so that they don't need huge cooldowns for every single play that they make.
I'll translate that for you in chat. That is a mid hero that likes to take fights, not farm the jungle, look towards his opponent's side of the map, not towards his own.
Lina perhaps would be wouldn't be bad. It's nice as well to have a ranged hero to utilize Slardar's minus armor. It's not the greatest if you have a Void because it's harder for him to stick to the target. You can't swap as effectively. Something like Alina, you have no problems. Like Slardar went for this guy, mid-fight he switches to this guy, you just start pummeling damage into him instead.
How about just like a casual Pangolier or something? Just like a super fight heavy.
For Liquid?
Yeah, then you don't die to the Tusk rotations. Obviously, into Grimstroke it doesn't feel too
I
good.
can't, yeah, into Grimstroke, and also I just don't see how they're gonna do anything.
They just need an active hero. They're banning out Ember and Void Spirit themselves.
Yeah. I think Lina, Viper make the most sense. It's nice to have a bit of burst damage.
Oh, yeah, they're just
And
going, is
Quap is a possibility.
Storm's still in the pool.
Storm
It's
is
much
still
better.
Storm's not bad either.
That is just the big 1-2 punch. They ban out Viper, yeah. So,
Yeah, they
I
banned
think
out the other
it's changing up.
spirits.
Yeah, I think, Storm's up there.
I know Blitz pretty well, and if he's thinking Storm, he's looking at the enemy team fight and their ability to potentially go high ground early on, and I would be afraid of Nigma threatening that.
How about a Storm on the other side, though?
We'll see if Liquid picks.
Yeah. To quote Fear, every time I would be in this position thinking about what we would last pick, he would say, Kyle, why don't we just wait to see what they take?
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, can't be wrong if you don't predict.
Which was kind of annoying, because I like to talk, and
You do.
I just have to sit on my hands for 2 minutes.
Well, please, sit on your hands, Kyle. Let's get that action underway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quap, possibility for Koifa. I don't think they'd go like a Huskar route, but it's I guess, a possibility. I think it's more likely he just plays something standard.
Do we have to think about things, damage going through in the Chronosphere? Obviously, Invoker is banned, the most obvious one, but is
This
Fatal
reserve time.
Bonds
No.
with Mortimer's Kisses is enough?
It is a lot of damage. It's just big cooldowns for the damage. And okay, they go for a tiny.
All right. I wish I was working yesterday. I would have said, when in doubt,
I was gonna
and
say.
if you have Limp on your team, if that box is checked, pick Limp Tiny. Well,
I mean-
Liquid try the same strat here for Koifa.
Void, Tiny, and Snap were on the winning team on the side of Alliance in Game 2 yesterday. Only differences are the Timber and the Rubik replaced by the Warlock and the Slardar.
The good thing about this tiny pick is, if you emulate the style of gameplay that Toxin does, for example, where you're just playing into your enemy jungle, non-stop tossing people, you're disrupting Nigma's ability to just group up cleanly as 5, it buys time for a Void, a Warlock to get entry into the game. So yeah, I like the idea if it is a core tiny.
Yeah.
If they flex Snapfire to core, maybe
Yeah,
not
they
so
can
much.
swap it, right?
They can,
Still
they
open.
And they just go for a Pugna. Okay.
I had a feeling they might go for Pugna. My concern is that against a Tiny, you can get pretty... you just get ran at. And now there's a target on Miracle's back for this entire game. Their save is somewhat limited, and their damage output is basically all ILTW. So I don't mind Liquid's draft into this. Their team fight's quite solid. You got to figure they'll be comfortable, and it's going to be much easier for them to find kills because Nigma don't really have anything to play with mind control.
I don't mind this Pugna pick too much, just because the build would change up a little bit where you just go for like a Glimmer Cape. You naturally go for Octarine Core quite quickly, so it's more HP. So you are quickly very tanky and can eat through that damage. It's also a hero that will happily just stand up front and be that annoying hero that they jump and then suddenly now the rest of the cast coming in. It is just... Nigma are playing for that timing. Like we literally we describe these teams as full-on aggression and then stack camps, wait, play later. It's why Liquid wins games, 35, 40 minutes plus, and Nigma win games much earlier. So
I think that
the tale of two stories.
That'll be the story, I think, of this game because if you chrono anybody but Pugna, they're going to get decrept. The Slardar amp, like all the damage disappears. If you hit this timing, you get an Aegis on Luna. He's got BKB. He's huge because he can farm these stacks in jungle so much faster. I think you're going to win. But the Void gets to level 20 plus, suddenly things start to go Liquid's way.
Well, at least I think we can be sure that there will be quite some action in this game. And two people that are going to be very happy with that are our commentary team of Cap and Fogged.
Yes, we are, Fogged. I think this is going to be a fun one because every single time it's the old Liquid boys versus the new Liquid boys. And every single time they played up against each other, Fogged, in a best of 3, it has gone the full distance.
Yep, that's what we're hoping for. And I mean, we got some exciting stuff coming out here. We've got a Pugna for Miracle. I don't even know the last time I saw like Miracle playing Pugna. We got Koikfo with the Tiny, and Liquid, they've got a lot of comfort. They love playing with Slardar. They used to be a team that picked Void, even during some time when he was phasing out and all that. They like the Void AA combo, so they're comfortable with the hero. But I do have to feel a bit anxious for them. I see a very good group up lineup on the side of Nigma when they hit this timing. Mech Darkseer, Pugna's going to be pressuring as well. I think Liquid might falter to that if they don't set up perfect team fights with that Void Chrono and that Warlock.
So the last time, I'm not sure if this is entirely accurate, but the last time that Miracle played Pugna was in 2019, February.
Okay.
See if I can find it. Matchup against Team Singularity. I don't even know what tournament this is. So yeah, it's definitely, it's been a minute.
Yeah, some time for sure. And, there is some potential for him getting burst, just like Panel was saying. Tiny, Snapfire, there is a good amount of actual damage that can just delete him. However, if he's in a good position, he's got a lot of different ways to protect himself, too. They've got the Darkseer and the Tusk, too, so a lot of different ways to guard Miracle.
What do you think about Liquid? I feel like this game represents a change of pace from them, considering what they were running at the Singapore Major, which was like 3 semi-cores, a very fast lineup that usually would get outscaled. Here, they've got Slardar Void. Like, I feel like this is kind of somewhat epitome of late game. They're actually giving Mickey a hard carry to play off of rather than their usual shenanigans.
No, I absolutely agree. That's why I was saying, I feel like they're going back to their old forms of, all right, let's look for these big fights rather than this constant aggression and just having stable Mickey on, a jug or something like that. So Mickey eats the whole tag team, gets a nice little time walk to start off. So I haven't been seeing too much of these double melee with the Darkseers. It's not been, doing badly. Just it takes time to be able to build up that pressure. So glad to see teams are still willing to go for it.
We'll see how they do and how much pressure they are able to put onto a Faceless Void with a Warlock behind. I feel like that's one of those combos that, it used to be Warlock Spectre. That was a combo that's just okay, we will endure. But I have to imagine Faceless Void is going to be even harder to pressure.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the bans because they picked Warlock and then Nigma picked the Darkseer right after. So maybe they were going for okay, if you go for the Spectre, we're going to be able to have our own Spectre later on too and stuff like that. And Darkseer versus Spectre might not be that bad, but they actually go for Void instead. So some switch up perhaps.
I can tell you that Spectre was not banned.
Okay.
So it was still out there, but Nigma did opt to take the much faster rune. I'm super interested to see this Luna at work and whether or not we're going to see the shard pickup. Do you think that's legit?
I think with Grimstroke it is because you can get the double bounces in bottom. Speaking of the Luna,
getting very low. ILTW will be okay though.
we have to mention the power of this lane, right? Snapfire, I know we've all been talking about how it's kind of been moving to that 5 position exclusively, but damn, with Slardar, this actually sounds like a pretty hot lane. Level 3 comes around, 100 bonus damage, -8 armor. They're going to pack a punch onto this Luna, even if she is one of the higher armor heroes in the game early on.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if she was a higher ranged hero, right? But the fact that she's got that short range means that at any point in time, she's within cookie hopping distance.
And we're seeing that effect already. Like, ILTW's only got 5 last hits right now, and the Slardar's already up to that 10. Taiga and Boxy doing a great job. Very comfortable. As we know, Boxy absolutely loves Slardar, even when it's not meta. He's been playing it. And I'm going to be continuing looking at mid. I think this is where it's going to start getting quite difficult for Koikfa. He's going to have to spend a lot on regen. And this is where Miracle Pugna is able to start applying crazy amounts of pressure, really. And perhaps even stealing the bounty rune if he pushes it in and going to the opposing side.
Yeah, you could already see Koikfa like ferrying in regen because he knows he's going to be pressured really heavily and he can't afford to just be backed out of the lane. Otherwise, he's going to lose his tower super early.
Oh, is Kuro's doing the move. So he's actually the one invading on the Grimstroke to try to steal this bounty rune away, or secure it at least with Miracle. Deny it from Koikfa.
Oh, they're going to sandwich him maybe. Koikfa, oh, he's going up that high ground. Now he's dead. He's dead, and he's not even going to get the bounty rune for these efforts. Great move from Kuro. And I'm sure Koikfa is probably talking to his teammates going, guys, did you know he was missing? Did you know he wasn't in lane anymore? And Sania, meanwhile, he's also going to go down. Mikke is going to try it and finally does manage to get the bash. He'll take off some of the damage that he received, so support's being traded out in the top lane.
That's huge. Right, the Luna's not farming great anyway. Kuro makes a heads-up move, shuts down Koikfa, enables Miracle, and as we said, that's already a tough lane for Koikfa. He's gonna start really falling behind. The tower pressure is gonna start coming out bottom.
Oh, still got him with the cookie, and the vision will allow them to be able to get the final blow onto Kuro. So a little bit of vengeance for what happened to Koikfa earlier. Speaking of Koikfa.
Is Miracle just... Okay, let's see what he's running. He's not going to be able to stop it. Koikfa will be able to secure himself that water rune. I was a bit worried because I see the boots on the Pugna. You get 375 move speed, 300 move speed, tiny. But yeah, Koikfa gets the rune at least.
Yeah, they don't really have the best heroes to rotate around. Time Walk pulled back into his doom. What a combo from Nigma, and they're going to keep the chase up. They do not want to let Insania get the experience for this creep wave, and they'd love to have the extra kill as well. Insania, having no tangos to be able to juke his way around here, should be kind of stuck and slowly burnt out. Things going very well for Nigma in this Game 1 early laning phase.
Yeah, even with that bottle, we saw GH takes the bottle from my control, grabs the bounty rune earlier. That's why they have so much mana up here to be able to apply that pressure onto the Void. As yeah, works out. Luna's still getting pressured. ILTW, he still is suffering quite a lot here, but some nice big moves from Nigma.
Do you think
go for these kills?
They can afford for the Luna to have the worst laning phase of their 3 cores, rather? As we're probably going to see him go down again here. They're going to rely on the Inkswell stun to be able to get ILTW out of here. Boxy not going to go chase him down and let the Luna live for now.
I think they can, just because you can... I see he already put the second point in his Lunar Blessing, which might hurt that he didn't save the point for the Glaives, but he can just go Glaive build, and the team, right, the Nigma lineup, they can fight as 4. They don't need the Luna in all these instances, and they can pick and choose their battles, right? Like Liquid, when they know Chronosphere is up, when they know Snapfire ult is up, when they know Kato Offering's up, they're not going to just run into them as 4. They got to, like, you know, just play smartly around that if the Luna's catching up.
Yeah, big difference from, say, the Faceless Void, who, you know, maybe top of CS, but he's also being pressured a bit, having that death. This is a hero that, in some ways, needs to have a good laning phase, right? Because you're way back into the game. You don't have that flash farming mechanism. Yeah. You have to, if you want to get back into the game, you have bad laning phase, you have to get good Chronospheres. You have to actually fight to get back in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He does it. He has excellent, like they have excellent ways with that Chrono, absolutely. Just have to be sure they get the right targets inside it. They have to catch Miracle, for the most part, inside that Chrono, like all game, or he's just going to turn it quite quickly.
Well, we did say, I heard the panel talk about the Decrepify, but it's a little different when you've got a huge amount of magic damage you throw inside the Chronosphere, right? Like, I'm not sure if Decrepify is a good idea when there's a Snapfire on the side. Snowball, that's going to stop Boxy's TP. He thought he was going to be home free with the Lucent Beam used, but ILTW, he's laughing because he knew there was a trap card in play here.
And he actually, okay, he puts the 3rd point in the Blessing. So he just wants to have that high damage when they do rotate to his lane. I mean, if they're grouped up, that build is going to be that much stronger, right? Everybody's going to have that extra 25. And when I look at Nigma's draft, it is a lot about that, like, timing. They're going to hit a peak timing with, like, this mech on Darkseer with Pugna pushing, and Luna's just going to group up as 5. So you can see why he's doing that.
And how do you, as Liquid, break that 5-man? Like, the obvious thing is, like, okay, get a good team fight in. But do you feel like they're going to get to a point where they can't fight? They just have to dodge and split push?
They're just gonna have to play really according to these cooldowns. It's like, and it's gonna be really dependent on how Mickey gets the setup, because he really is gonna be the majority of that setup. Since his, I mean, I wanted to say Koikfa was struggling. Koikfa's actually doing decent. Yeah. But it's gonna be a lot on, like, a lot of pressure on Mickey to just land that positioning, just land it on like 2 or 3 heroes. Hey, they have fun too. At least we have got Tiny. Like Koikfa, when he gets Blink, he can toss heroes into the Chrono, as we used to see.
Yeah, that's true. 5-2, as you said. Koifa doing better than expected, considering he got ganked and killed early on. Same goes with Mickey, who's actually top net worth right now, even though he did die early on. But that is kind of what we were saying from the beginning, is that in comparison, Mickey's doing very well because ILTW was pressured so much in lane.
Speaking of this pressure, we see GH as well as Kuroki kind of setting up around mid. Taiga wants to slow down this tower push because mid tower, it's a blaster too. It's a blast and a half from death.
Are they really going to go for this? I feel like if you use the Chrono early, that may just be Nigma straight up pushing down your towers with that cooldown up. But let's see. They're going to try for it. And I feel like you've committed so much. The time walk back down. Cookie Hop gets on top of him. Still hoping for a bash here. And he finally does get it. And they won't have to expand the Chronosphere. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Boxy in some trouble here. But oh, nice snowball. Great reaction there from GH as he gets out of the avalanche. But won't be able to get away from the toss of Boxy, and they're going to try and burst him down before he can get anything else off. Nigma are going to have to retreat here and probably going to lose Kuro on their way out. A Chronosphere is going to be used on the mid lane at the same time. Liquid may have a slower lineup here, but they're going to be keeping their fast pace, getting kills in all 3 lanes.
Oh, baby. Great moves, great rotations. And the whole team swinging over to get mind control actually causes them to be able to swing and catch Miracle in the mid lane. Mickey getting a heads-up move with his Chrono. And that's pre-6 on Taiga. Now he'll have Mortimer Kisses for the next fight, too. Some really heads-up moves coming out from Liquid. And Koikfa should now be enabled to get a pretty damn good timing on this Blink Dagger off of that.
Yeah, certainly. That being said, it did come at a trade-off, right? The reason Miracle is so far forward, he's taking that mid tower before 10 minutes.
Now he's going to have a lot of options to be able to move around the map and just continue pressuring and getting that extra gold. You know, this tower gold, it does add up quite quickly when you are playing with this type of early centric draft with like Luna, Darkseer, Pugna pushing. Look at some good timings on what looks like it's going to be actually a pipe first on the Darkseer.
Okay. You agree with that? The magic damage being the biggest threat in this game right now?
Yeah, just because they have Decrep, right? The Decrepify is going to be able to save versus most of those others, and just tanking like the tiny combos. Like if everybody, I'm like clicking around looking at the heroes, like who's got raindrops, who's prepared for those tiny combos.
Yeah. All right, well, ILTW will certainly have a lot of space to work with all these early towers being taken. Let's see how well he recovers.
And it's just the 1 point in beam. It's just 1-3-3, so now he's got almost the max glaives. They're going to be giving him the majority of the safe farm on his side of the map wall. We see Miracle and Mind Control both try to apply as much pressure as possible, especially now that Chrono's down. But they have to be wary. Koikfa, he's got the blink. It's really early.
Yeah, it is, and they've already smoked up Koikfa and Taiga.
And
2 playmakers in the team. They're going to be able to find Miracle, get on top of him. They're going to make sure to use the Mortimer's Kisses. They want to take absolutely no chance that Miracle can get away. They want to make sure he dies.
And Mind Control, too. The ward coverage that they have right now is perfect.
He had an Arcane Rune. Mind Control, he knows that he's been totally caught. He just tries to throw it down the wall, but that's about as best as he can do here. GH is still looking for a fight because he has the Grimstroke behind him, but I feel like this is a little scary. All right, he will get away.
He's just shy. He's like 5 mana short of having the Avalanche as well, too. This Arcane Rune almost getting them 3 kills consecutively. But ward coverage, you know, they see Miracle playing a little bit too far up. They see the Darkseer also isolated. And Boxy, he's living the dream during those moves. He actually just farms Ancients, farms the hard camp, and now he's got a blink too. So double blink initiators and a Chrono. Liquid have hit quite a good timing here.
I actually feel like that's a very underrated and under-talked about skill, is the ability for a 5 position, whatever warder you have, to be able to read where the pressure is going to be able to come in. Okay, we're going to be losing our mid tower. We're going to be losing our top tower. Getting defensive vision down preemptively. And that does allow you to be able to find a kill like Miracle there.
And just being set up for it too. You know, just Taiga kind of chilling in the area, waiting for an opportunity. Liquid now. Or sorry,
wow.
Nigma now, looking for an actual smoke rotation to try to slow down Mickey, because he's starting to get a bit too much farm. You know, he's getting all these kills. He's not getting pressured almost at all.
Oh, big kill. If they can get it, the silence is going to go out. Mickey can't actually get rid of that silence because of the Decrepify, a nasty combo that we've seen a number of times before. And Nigma put it to good use here.
I really love Grimstroke Pugna, and like in just multiple different forms of combos too, right? The double decrep, double drain, the decrep plus that phantom's always fun.
Yeah.
As Nigma will get some pressure out, but Liquid, they're also going to probably be able to just take out the bottom tower in the meanwhile.
So that's going to be their first tower of the game. Net worth very even, 6-8. Nigma doing about like, I don't know, you'd probably put this game 50-50, right? Like Nigma is doing what they need to do, but the pressure is on them to take more and more map control.
Absolutely. I'd maybe give like a slight favor to Liquid, just because like these blinks are so early. Like sub 13-minute blinks on both mid and the off laner. Your faceless void lane is doing quite well too. So yeah, maybe giving them the slight edge, as they do have that crazy scaling potential.
Oh, missed out
Ooh.
with the stun there. The TP is going to be coming in from the Tiny. GH is surely caught here. No way out for him. And
the damage that's going to be coming out, this minus armor is going to start. It's going to be ridiculous whenever they connect. The Solar Crest almost done for Taiga.
Yeah, and I think one big point is if you, as Nigma, lose too many heroes in a row, they can actually take Roshan from you. And that is like a big momentum staller right there. If the enemy team that is the better late game picks up the Aegis, that's rough.
Mickey, can they actually get the pick off on him?
Oh, they got him
before his
again.
team gets there?
Pull them back in. He's not getting away from the drain. The silence is there. They're going to throw out the golem, trying to interrupt things. They can maybe still win this fight. Soulbind latching on in. No, Boxy not able to stay on top of Miracle. He's actually getting some heals out. The double suck going off onto the golem there. I actually didn't know you could Soulbind onto the golem. I guess it's a hero unit, right?
Yeah, I mean, he probably clicked the golem then, and it's attached to the other hero, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's the way he must have done it. And hey, I guess they can go for their own Roshan too. A tag team with Medallion does die pretty quick. I also want to point out GH has kidnapped Mind Control's bottle the entire game so far. He never gave it back.
This is mine now. I thought maybe it would go the other way. The supports are going to be feeding Core's bottles, but apparently not.
Are they going to make it in time? They have Chrono, and they have the Mortimer Kisses, but they won't be able to. Do
A
they
little
look
bit too
for the fight?
slow. They do have Mickey here. They're going to try and get what pickoffs they can without using the Chronosphere. Mind Control is certainly stuck in the pit, and they will manage to get 2 kills. Looking for more now. Koifa and Boxy leading the charge with their Blink Daggers. He blinks the right position here. He'd actually find Kuro and Miracle, but he'd be pretty far ahead of his team. So Liquid are going to give up on that for now, and it's actually Nigma are going to try and get aggressive here. They're going to find the pick off on Insania in the back lines here. And Boxy, he's going to take that challenge. Mortimer Kiss is raining in. They're going to be able to bring down Miracle because the Aegis is on ILTW. So they're going to try and leave ILTW for last here. Bash Chronosphere actually going down. They're going to try and deal with the Tusk because, again, the extra life. The Cookie doesn't do anything, though. It's the Chronosphere. The Inkswell's going to stall off Boxy and Mickey. He's got to get out now. GH going to try and chase him. Boxy, okay, Taiga. He's doesn't have a TP, so there's no way out. He's just going to suicide into the tier 2.
They tried to turn because they got, their Warlock got caught. They tried to go for this big fight, but Nigma, they've got a little bit too much. And ILTW, I believe he just ticks level 13 as that fight's going off when they get the kill. Gets the point in the Eclipse, so he's able to zone them away. Nice heads-up fight still coming out from both sides, but Liquid fighting into this unit. We're seeing that Lunar Blessing coming into play. We're seeing just that whole power of where Nigma is grouped up. Even into these big team fight spells of Liquid, they're somehow able to take it.
And it's actually 2 different fights now that like a small little mechanical play may have actually changed some of the fate. The Soulbind there on the previous team fight, and this one that they could have definitely used an additional cookie stun on ILTW, but sadly,
I think he tried to I think he tried the cookie while he was in the chrono, right?
Yeah.
So the cookie doesn't work. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate for sure. He did have Aegis, so it's still, well, they probably get cleaned up anyway. But yeah, small little things.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
See if they are going to be able to take this tier 2 early. They're not. They're going to back up.
Radiant's top
There's,
Ooh, a perfect item for Liquid's draft and style this game, the Philosopher's Stone. They're trying to take it to the later stages, get that Philly up on Insania or on Taiga.
Watch that replay again. We'll see the initiation from Boxy. They very easily blow up Miracle here, and that's all fine, well, and good. But ILTW, this is about the time he's pumping out some serious damage, and sadly, the cookie that comes in here, not really doing anything for you, so ILTW is just able to get off the Eclipse, and that's kind of that.
Yeah, and I do want to point out just the distance that Nigma can poke and prod from. Lucent Beam, they've got the Stroke of Fate, the Pugna Blast, so many spells they can shoot from a distance as Insania gets caught trying to de-ward there for a moment. And yeah, Kuroki skill build this game. Since he has a ranged carry, even though he has Tusk, he only has the 1 point in Inkswell. He's got 4 points in Stroke for that range spam that they've been doing, and then the Phantom's Embrace since it's so efficient versus Void.
Yeah, I really like
out.
this. He's got the Decrepify. The Rend damage is really insane, especially if they Decrepify when it goes off. So I do like this choice quite a bit from him.
Yeah, even the talent. Like, if he chooses to take the DPS talent, it's like 780 damage when it's maxed out on Phantom. It's one of the higher burst damages in the game, but I don't think I've seen like anyone take it because the other one's just so value.
Yeah. So we have Liquid. They hit a timing. They got their blink daggers. They took, 1, maybe 2 okay fights, but now it feels like that timing's gone. And I'm presuming the next timing is BKBs. I mean, that Faceless Void feels like it needs one really badly.
Oh god, he's going for the S and Y because he's probably just feeling like the leash and all this is going to be just devastating for him, even if he has BKB, because he's playing versus that Grimstroke. But yeah, it's going to be some tough moments for Liquid as this is like the peak time. Aegis, you've got your group up with Luna, with Pugna, with Darkseer. Like, these heroes all just, they work so well together. They just have to make sure they're not clumped. The only way Liquid can really take this big fight is a humongous chrono that just lands the whole entire combo. But if they pick a fight where they're not all together, like exactly at the same time, Nigma's just going to like insta-kill one hero and move on to the next very quickly.
All right, well, 1 more minute left for that Aegis, and it can take the outpost.
Yep.
They want, as they've already taken that mid lane. Not that they need it before 20 minutes, of course, but the passive experience is always nice. Watch Insania. Just very easily 100-0'd.
Yep. And that actually, I didn't notice, GH got the Blink Dagger off that kill too. So now, easier forms of initiation for Nigma. Liquid still has a lot of ways to be able to get onto these targets, but now there's a save and an initiation for Nigma that's going to make it quite a lot harder.
Tried to vacuum him back in. Nigma. It's kind of that awkward position where you almost want to go high ground just to try and force people back, but it's also inherently very dangerous to even approach that area. So they're not going to go high ground. Liquid are going to be allowed to maintain their current positioning, which is cores, farming up side lanes, and generally trying to stay off map.
I think going high ground whenever you're versus Tiny is always quite scary. You get like one toss back, you have to make the decision. Do we help him or do we ditch him?
Look at this triangle vision. They had vision on their own triangle. Again, a great warding technique of just like knowing if we're going to be pressuring their side of the map, they have to play side lanes and they have to try and farm somewhere else. So let's get some really nice defensive vision to be able to spot that. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually scale out on a kill here, but Mickey is going to be forced out of that position, rooted away to his side. Taiga, nice deny there on the DD with a little shredder.
Aegis does get reclaimed. Nigma does sweep them out of their triangle. So now Mickey has to farm in a more defensive position. And Nigma now can probably look to just like claim areas around their wards, just keep protecting their wards and just playing around those well. We do see Liquid just kind of playing in the dark. They only have what, that one ward down on the bottom right side, and I think the one in the river, which is soon expiring. So map is not the safest for them.
So I just did my own little in-person replay, and I watched Kuro, and he did actually click Soulbind on Boxy earlier, and it just automatically latched onto the golem. So that's
That's really cool. I did not know that one.
Yeah,
Because like there's a lot of times in where I've seen people like you click it on a hero and then you click it on an illusion and it latches to the hero. But I guess with the golem, it's just a full hero unit. That's really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. 5-man smoke up from Liquid. And no Aegis on ILTW. They get the right Chronosphere here. Maybe they can change. Unfortunately, it's fine. They're going to be able to get it. Immediately, the Mortimer's Kisses are raining in. They're going to try and burst down ILTW as quick as possible. The Mortimer's Kisses run out as the Tusk was able to stall that out. ILTW, a sliver of HP, and he finally does go down. Mind Control put him back into the wall, but he's certainly dead here unless he gets super lucky and jukes all this out. Into the trees he goes, hiding away, but Koifa, like a bloodhound, sniffs him out into the trees. 4 kills for Liquid off of that team fight.
Nigma caught with their pants down, not fully ready with that positioning there. They lose the Luna very early on. The Grimstroke gets pocked by Koifa. Just a perfect wraparound. Liquid reading this scenario perfectly. That one ward that they had in the river actually kind of caused all that because they saw Nigma swimming up and getting that setup there, so they're able to get the wraparound. Now, though, they did expend like everything. So now it's going to be up to Nigma to punish that themselves. And they're going to smoke immediately.
How far do you push this? Like, if you don't find the team fight, do you try and poke at a high ground, or what do you do? They're going to find Taiga with the smoke. Not a core kill, so it's okay.
I think you're just swinging for kills. With this trio, or maybe even with the 4 of them, you just swing for kills. Okay. And the Luna just deals with pushing out the lanes at the moment. Just keep looking to just claim any type of advantage. Claiming triangle is still a little bit scary, but if they're willing to try, they still have a good opportunity. And it looks like they're actually going to try.
Well, you called it. They smoked, found a kill. Smoke, go again. Boxy blinking into the river here. He's going to be chased down, pulled back in by the vacuum as well. So, 1 pick off becomes 2. Nigma keeping up the pace here.
Yeah, Koifa just trying to shove the bottom lane as fast as possible so he can drive that attention from Team Nigma down there so that they can get more time to be able to have their chrono. They just want to buy time right now on Liquid to be able to take a better fight when they do have those spells up as GH. He's on the prowl.
He's gonna find him immediately. Walrus punches him, catches him. Koifa pops that haste rune. Now he may still be caught, especially since they've got the snowball to see where he's kind of going. Shards, can they block him in? Oh, barely misses out on that one. Koifa, I believe he's going to be away, home free. Blinks, TP's out. Very nicely done by him. So it does create a little space.
Great space, but look, again, another smoke from Team Nigma. Like, they're just like, guys, Chrono and Chaotic Offering down. Let's go, go, go.
Did they save all of their... Like, how many times do you have 3 smokes available? I feel like they almost saved them intentionally for when these abilities were going to be on cooldown, as they're going to find Taiga once again.
Okay. Roche in about a minute as well, so Liquid will have all their ults are going to be up for that Roche fight, but Nigma have effectively punished it. How many kills did they actually get there in that?
3? They got 3. They got 2 on Taiga, 1 on Boxy. They missed out on the Koifa kill, obviously, so
pretty good for them.
Yeah, not bad. Oh, got the shard pickup for Insania. Let's see, Mickey with the Scotty next item. I believe. Does Luna have her BKB?
She does. She's very farmed, almost level 18 too. Mickey has hit 18 though, so he's a little bit ahead on that front at least. And he does have protection. He does have Manta to at least cover him a little bit versus like the Phantoms and the Silences and the Decreps and all that will be annoying him a lot.
Okay.
Miracle, he's gone all positioning, right? Octarine to tank up and just how valuable the item is because it builds up from that Aether Lens and then Blink.
Yeah. And he's even going to go back for a Glimmer Cape. We saw there the difference in the gold that they're getting from these bounty runes. Nigma, they're up by 5k. Half of that is purely coming from the fact that they have gotten a lot more bounty runes than Liquid, obviously from all that map control they've got.
Yep. And Liquid now, BKB's up on Boxy, so he has a much easier time just getting into the backlines, which, you know, if we see Liquid get to hit their spells properly, when they can get these opportunities to wrap around, they still have good shots in the fight. It's a lot harder for them to actually get through this annoying Darkseer who runs right into the front most of the time.
Yeah, Mind Control is currently trying to do that exact job, just kind of like running interference, being on the front, Liquid, they're going to
actually
try and
walking in.
sneak on by here. They know they're coming, though. They're immediately going to get a stun off. Mickey's going to be silenced here. Mickey in a bit of trouble. He's going to pop the Manta, and it goes back for mind control while Boxy ended up going in. GH is trying to finish off Taiga here, but the heal is going to prevent that as he's going to be left on the river side of things, while Boxy, he's been creating a ton of space there. Everybody else was pushed away from this engagement. Even the buyback coming in from mind control because they know they really cannot afford to give up this Roshan.
Mickey just puts his body out there. He's like, all right, my control wants to be a tanky boy. I'm way tankier as this Void. 2,800 HP. He's also got the Nether Shawl. He runs in, gives so much information for his team, and they don't have to use any ults. So now for this next fight, they have that, and they know my control does not have buyback. So if they catch this Darkseer, that will break most of the team fight that's coming out from Nigma, because he is so crucial to Nigma's team fight.
Yeah, pretty good play by Mickey, as you said, both of the positioning, and he seems to be holding on to the Chronosphere a lot. He is just not expending that very easily. I think the only time he's really been using it right was the Miracle Kill mid and then ILTW, those other times.
He's got his target priority for sure. It's Liquid.
If they can catch him, perhaps before he pops BKB, Mickey's going to be initiated on first. Snowball's chain stun pretty heavily. The Mortimer's Kiss is raining in, and he didn't get off the BKB. A hefty amount of damage coming in, but it's actually only about half HP. ILTW will turn now with the Eclipse. They've got to be able to get away from this. Magic damage is raining in. Taiga may be left for dead, but Mickey's going to be okay for now. Now they go back in. Boxy with the BKB, salting the back line. They want Miracle, and they want him bad, but they Decrepify, stalling things out. He is allowed to life drain, so they're going to go for ILTW instead. Koifa tossing Miracle up in the air. He says enough of that, but Miracle's actually still alive. Essence Ring, another round of Decrepify. He's trying to do it for as long as he can, but ultimately he's got no more backup left. He stays alive admirably for a very long time there. But Liquid, they easily trounce the rest of Nigma in that team fight.
And now, because they have Slaughter, they actually lost nobody in this fight. They can go straight for Roche. And actually, before doing that, they're actually going to hunt for mind control.
Oh yeah, they found him. Koifa. That was, I guess, that lane ward right there on the left must have spotted mind control. So now they're going to be able to get... Oh man, second Roshan is such a huge objective now that you also get the shard on top of that.
Yeah, now, like with the way that their heroes all work, like they scale quite hard, and Nigma's gonna start having a lot of problems now going forward. That last fight kind of set everything for them. They even, the Chrono lands, the Snapfire Kisses land. Luna's still alive, but Liquid's able to reset, and then they have another round of big ultimates. The Chaotic Offering coming in, and Koifa the whole time, he sat on Miracle. He kept controlling him over and over again, and just like toss Avalanche, reset, come back, toss Avalanche, reset. It didn't let Miracle really do much in the fights at all.
Do you agree with this choice? Them giving the shard to Mickey, so now he has the reverse time walk?
Sure.
We
saw that yesterday too. You can do some fun juke plays. You can dodge some spells.
Yeah. I feel like the cast range is actually what makes it legit.
That is absolutely fair. Yeah, 400 cast range definitely just makes it worthwhile as Chrono. I mean, it is everything. I forgot that it gave 400. I thought it was a lot less than that.
Yeah,
that is
dude,
quite a lot.
Why is it 400 and it gives a second ability? I feel like Icebark's going insane with these shards for carries, man.
Yeah, that's actually quite crazy. And they already have the shard on Boxy too, and his is really valuable too. So I mean, yeah, it's absolutely best one for Void.
He's like, go ahead, you've got a new ability. Oh, and minus 2 seconds cooldown. Or increase cast range as well. It's like, what?
Or make it heal, and strong dispel, and do extra damage, and do something. I love it.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
It definitely feels like these shards are no longer like this fun, like slightly optional thing, but they're very rapidly becoming core to some of these heroes.
Yeah, for some, for sure. But then there's other ones, like, you look at Pugna's and you're like, in very rare situations, is this going to be valuable in comparison? As speaking of Pugna, Miracle.
Yeah, he's very far forward here.
That was crazy.
Kind of insane. And Mickey.
Mickey's got Chrono at the ready. He's kind of looking for a hunt to catch something.
Didn't quite see him. He almost has Scotty too, so I feel like in some ways they it'd be nice for them to just chill out and fill that up. Koifa does have his Aghanim Scepter, so now the Tiny can pump some serious damage into the Chronosphere as well. We're going back to the point where you probably need a Decrepify to save those units from the tree volley that's going to be raining in. Boxy currently hunting with an Invis Rune.
Level 18 too, so we've got max corrosive haze that applies with his slithering crush.
Oh boy. That wasn't even a
Jesus.
bash hit. That was just a regular one. That was like a third of his hit HP. Oh no.
That was a quiver hit, right? So the quiver
Oh,
was
okay,
you know,
okay. Oh,
big
that makes
added
sense.
element. But
I was
actually
like,
looking, I was like, wait, what? I was like, that wasn't a bash.
that damage was insane.
Oh, man. And Mika, he finds himself a Mindbreaker, but he's still keeping
Oh,
the
they
other
found
shot. Boxy.
ILTW. He's going to be forced to pop his BKB, but they've got a Solar Crest on Boxy, so he is swinging really fast. They're going to drop the Golem here for Boxy to try and get one more hit in to get that bash. ILTW away
coming.
into the trees. There is an escape point out of this area, and he will manage to use that to barely get back to the base until no. Mickey's here with the Chronosphere. Oh, another Glimmer Cape, and they're actually getting the Life Drain as well. Uh-oh, Liquid. This is going to be a little difficult until ILTW. Is he finally finished off? He is. The magic damage is there. Grimshock's going to be swallowed up by the Boxy and Mickey combo here. Miracle and GH are left to try and hold the base by themselves.
And Liquid's like, wait, we can't hit tier 3s. Oh yeah, tier 2s are still up. Oops, we're fighting. Great chase forward. Liquid really catching their stride this game, and pretty much all the team fights that they chose to take have been like just quite successful, except for the one around the the Aegis point where they jumped the Luna initially. But besides that, perfect connections pretty much from everybody. And Koikfa having a really solid performance on the Tiny after a bit of a tough start in the lane.
And ILTW, kind of a rough game for him, mostly because Liquid is doing a good job hunting him down.
Yeah, they're always getting on the targets that they need to. They're always jumping onto these backline targets, and these double blinks and the Chronosphere and just that big coverage of Chaotic offering, it's enough for them.
Oh. I'm beginning to think, Fog, that Faceless Void, I mean, the way OG used it with amplifying him up with all that attack speed, now we're seeing Liquid amplified via Corrosive Haze. Like, it really seems like Faceless Void as just a right-clicking hero is really top tier right now.
Yeah, he's just back. You just have to be very cautious. And I think that's the biggest thing that I noticed from Liquid in the early game was just like holding the chrono, right? Like you have to wait for the right opportunity, the perfect opportunity. Getting a single kill in this type of game, it's not going to work because you're playing versus such heavy group up. You need to wait for the perfect opportunities. And they really have done that. Like Nigma has just been constantly on the prowl, constantly on the hunt with these smokes, trying to punish and split up Liquid when they don't have cooldowns. But Liquid, for the most part, they've been cool as a cucumber, waiting for this to come back up. 40 seconds till chrono. They're in their base.
Look how safe they are. Sitting around their tier 4s, Insania using chat wheel lines. Like, he's like, guys, we know you're 5-man smoking. We can smell a desperation get out of our base smoke. And we'll see if Liquid, in turn, are going to do something similar here. And who's going to end up winning out on the initiation fight? Because it feels like that's the biggest thing, right? It's like whoever gets the right kind of initiation here, and it's mostly been Liquid. Jump straight up. See something, gets a little vision, backs away. Now ILTW outside of position here, already down to half health. They're going to use the shards to block the entrance off. Miracle will use his Blink Dagger. Time dilation on cooldown now. He's still going to go for it, though. The Chronosphere opportunity is here. Immediately gets stunned, actually pushed away by Miracle as well. We're on the crown. ILTW going to be targeted here with the Corrosive Haze on him. He's popped BKB. He has a Butterfly, but he is being shredded by this right-click damage. He can't even get off an Eclipse. He's just done for it. He doesn't have buyback either. Nigma. Oh,
my
dear.
control just disappears.
I mean, the Tiny and the Faceless Void are doing so much damage thanks to the Corrosive Haze. I'm beginning to wonder, like, why aren't more people picking Slardar like BSJ has been asking for?
I have to agree. It's looking real good, and Boxy's so comfortable with it. And they still have Chrono. They didn't actually even have to use it in the fight. Mickey just right-clicked the entire time.
And this time, I mean, he's using the rewind really well. He keeps on getting vision. Now he's going to make the commitment here. Okay, LTW's not buying back. Let's go ahead and take down Miracle. Oh. Slight pause here as looks like we had somebody's PC froze, but
I crashed as well, actually.
Oh, really?
It was just them. Yeah, I was like, was it me? Is it them? What happened here? Everyone's just standing still.
Well, I have to wonder if Nigma are perhaps considering a GG call. They still have the tier 2s up on the side lanes here, so even, they're going to lose this fight and stuff, and they're probably going to give up their mid lane of barracks, but They can hold on if they want to and see if Liquid wants to hit some tier 4s or something like that.
I think they've fully lost their stride in this game. Liquid just have cruised in these last few like 3-4 team fights in a row. Mickey he's too tanky. He's too big. The fact that your Void can just time walk in over and over again like this and you can't punish it just says everything. It's a 4,000 health Void with a cheese.
Yeah, I like his build too. It's a very tanky build, right? He built Manta to help deal with the Phantom's Embrace and the Decrepify. Just a value Sange to be able to deal with various stuns, nice status resistance. And now a Scotty, so 4,000 HP almost.
Yeah, it looked a little scary, right? Because he went Maelstrom and then he went like Sange and he got killed like twice and they went S and Y. But then when he disassembles, it all starts to make a lot of sense. Yeah, this is some good stuff from Liquid, just being able to take this fight. Enigma, this was a very timing-based lineup that they wanted to get an advantage and keep pressing that advantage, but Liquid didn't really ever allow that to happen. I think the highest it ever went was, what, 5K gold lead? I don't think the experience ever even went into Nigma's favor. So, yeah, Liquid taking all these heads-up fights, and it's around that vision, right? Like, I noticed, like, the few times they did have vision where they got these big wraparounds was huge for them.
Yeah, certainly. It also feels like Luna's just... Am I wrong in saying I feel like she's pretty hard countered by just having these... Like, Corrosive Haze makes it so... Like, her one idea is like, okay, she at least has a lot of agility, even if her HP pool is squishy. But then, like, that all gets taken away, so she's being shredded by physical damage.
Yeah, still feels like the same problems that Luna's always had, at least from what I'm seeing in this game, right? You're just... You're kind of fragile. You're this carry hero that if you get collapsed on, which it's gonna happen, you're gonna get collapsed on, especially from this draft, you kind of still just die. You have to be playing at such a far advantage, it feels like with Luna. And I don't even know if he was actually ahead of Void almost at all this game, right? He was actually like neck and neck. Mickey kept up with him in farm.
Yeah, it helped that Mickey was able to exit the laning phase top net worth. And then he didn't really get picked off a whole lot. Okay, Telescope, Spell Prism. Those are two different nice items for Miracle.
Yeah, not bad.
Everyone's on their toes with Mickey around, man. He keeps on jumping in. And they're like, oh, is this the time? Is he going to go for the Chronosphere? He's got it up now. It's finally off cooldown.
So what's our ward duration? Now with the Spell Prism and the Octarine, okay, you can actually have 2 wards down.
LTW, you got to be careful. That Butterfly doesn't protect you against those tree hits. The Decrepify for a moment, but look at this. That damage. The Fatal Bonds set up off of a nice Chronosphere. Insania collects 3 of the kills, and Mickey will get the other 2. The friendship duo that has gone through the test of time from Heroes of New Worth to now Dota 2 stays strong. Look at those 2 lads as they're able to finish off the game in pretty nice style. Liquid taking game 1 against Nigma.
I like how they started to... I feel like they identified that they needed to bypass... Like, quite quickly, they needed to bypass the Darkseer and the Tusk. I think that last, that fight around the top side, around the Secret Shop, when Mickey just confidently walks into high ground, that was one of the bigger moments, like how they just understood how to take that fight. They're just like, all right, ignore the Darkseer, get onto the Grimstroke, get onto the Luna and this Pugna. These 3 squishies, if we get on them, the fight's just over. And Liquid found those opportunities a lot in this game, especially in that mid game.
And would you say that Nigma on the other side of that coin is the fact that whether it was ILTW's positioning or other people should have been in front of him, the fact that he was very often the first person to be gone on in a team fight, like that doesn't feel quite right?
Yeah, these type of like push traps with like Pugna, Luna, Darkseer, like if you get your footing and you get a big advantage, you can be able to fight later on, right? But I feel like there's a draft where it's like these minimal mistakes you can't have happen. Like if you do 2 mistakes with this type of draft versus a team like Liquid that's drafting for this big team fight, big late game, you're gonna lose. You have to play a pretty pristine game when you're going for these like big pushes and big group ups.
Well, again, the last time these 2 matched up against each other, Liquid did take game 1, and it still went the full best of 3. We'll have to see if our panel agrees if that's actually going to happen. Head back over to them.
I hope that's what's going to happen, because I do like seeing these 2 teams go head-to-head, but let's say 1 game at a time. First game taken by Team Liquid, and we're going to break it down and prepare for game number 2 after the break. Game 1 of this best of 3 goes the way of Team Liquid, and here you see what they were planning all the time. As the Chronosphere, the Mortimer's Kisses, and also, of course, the Warlord adding his damage to the fights. It was great potential. Not always were they able to find it, though, but it didn't matter too much. They were still able to edge ahead, and as we mentioned before the game, oh, look at that, though. Those Fatal Bonds. What's in the name? Of course, but this time the game was kind of already decided. But yeah, the fight that they did win, the Slardar just allows you to go straight into Roche when you win that, and you can get the momentum going. And yeah, Team Liquid, they take the first game. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going and also take game 2, or perhaps Team Nigma will strike back and force out that third game. I'm here with Kyle and Tigov, and it was a fun game, though.
Yeah, I think Liquid played their draft really well. I think the doubts of the cooldowns were soon extinguished when they were the ones picking the fights, getting the pickoffs, and then when that ball rolling and you can test that first Roshan, you don't really care because you're able to just play completely against the idea of Nigma.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'd shout out Insania specifically. A Warlock seems like a simple hero to play, but he was staggering his ultimates. Like, you were thinking a couple times, like, does he even have it off cooldown? And there it is. Typically, right as either Mickey or Miracle, or sorry, ILTW or Miracle were finding space away from Mickey, he would drop the rock on top. The Fatal Bonds were always perfect. You hit 4 heroes, the Fatal Bonds, like, that's it, game over. And really just feels like Nigma didn't play the draft the way it had to be played for them to win. You cannot fight into BKBs on Slardar Tiny later in the game. You just take too much damage. You're playing into Chrono. The team fight's always going to be there for Liquid.
We wanted them to play faster than this, right? Yeah, and they did not. There were also a lot of good executed team fights on the side of Team Liquid, and Purge is going to talk to us more about that one.
Shiver, yeah, the initiations from Liquid were great throughout the game. Here's their 13-minute timing where they had a lot of blink daggers ready to go. They went for some kills in this case, only grabbing GH, so not looking quite as good as they wanted. They immediately moved across the map to go engage Nigma, but Nigma's anticipating this, puts the ward down, puts another ward down, basically tries to get them to fish into a bad team fight. And they use this to grab a great basis void kill. Very smart of Mickey, by the way, to pick up a casual cloak. This is a great item that is going to give you a lot of survivability against this Pugna plus Grimstroke combo. And while this team fight didn't go great for Liquid, we'll skip over it. The next couple ones weren't quite the same. They end up taking Aegis as a result of this. Liquid jumps in, gets some cleanup kills as they retreat. And yeah, the next fight didn't go that great either. They forced engagement here with Warlock dying, and then they Chronosphere here, not quite killing ILTW. But importantly, what happened was it's just really straightforward for Liquid to execute these team fights. They have tons of initiation options. This fight was a little bit rough because they didn't have BKBs yet, but for almost every other engagement in the game, that wasn't the same worry. And Nigma did do something kind of cool with the max out aura because it combos well with Tusk and gives them, look at all this massive night vision that they have when they do pressure towers. But they weren't able to get this tower, and every other team fight for the rest of the game just felt a little bit rougher for them. Here's the really big chrono kill that we saw at the 21-minute mark. Instant ulti from Snapfire that does get interrupted by GH on the backline, but with the Golem follow-up and the Fatal Bonds, they basically just get to clean up the whole team because it's difficult for Nigma to frontline with the heroes they have. Mind Control, especially with Hood, he's survival against the magic nukes. He gets the Lotus Orb, but he's still super vulnerable to all this minus magic armor. And this is just base or minus or all this physical damage and minus armor, which has made it really difficult for Nigma to take fights. So Liquid, great draft, excellent execution. They never took their foot off the pedal, and they kept winning team fights against Team Nigma.
They kept winning team fights, and they won the game. Yeah. It's that simple.
It drives me nuts because this is like the tale of last season. They had this great Darkseer lineup last week. This week, I'm like, okay, where's the Vac stun combination? There's nothing for MC to play with. He can't play with any of his cores. There's no stun for the Vac. They're not pushing the tempo or the pace of the game.
It's our fault they lost. It simply is, because we interviewed Kuroki. Kuroki said we want to play fast. Yeah. Liquid,
that's great.
They draft anti-fast heroes and they win. So I think our interview is the reason why Liquid won game 1. Simple as that.
Okay, well, let's see if Team Nigma can take matters into their own hands and force out a game 3. That's what they'll need to do if they want to win the series. We're going to find out. We're going to have a short break, but when we're back, it is drafting time for Team Nigma and Team Liquid.
It's like a wild wind. It moves me. Can't hide, cannot escape. You drive me so wild and beautiful. You're strong and wonderful. High in the sky, I feel it in my bones.
For the second game of this best of 3 between Team Nigma and Team Liquid, we would like Team Nigma to step it up a bit. We would like them to play fast. We would like them to play the way that they did when they beat Team Secret last Saturday. We know they can do it, but maybe it's just Team Liquid. They're just preventing the team from playing fast. It could be as simple as that. It could be all related to draft. Speaking of draft, we got one for you here too for game 2. I'm here with Kyle and T-Gov, and yeah, we were well on our way. We got another Warlock, Sand King coming out as well, so we got a wombo combo going. Would imagine some Darkseers being banned here too, maybe?
We shall see.
We shall see.
I want to credit Liquid as well, though. I think they played the way they had to win the game. Every chrono was on point, and notably, after the match, we went to the webcams. Not too many smiles. Liquid, they're always having fun, but I think after that loss to Alliance, they recognize this is business now.
It's
it is
best
business
of 3,
time.
Carl. Yeah.
They don't have the points to qualify to them. They need to go to the major.
Yeah.
And they already lost to Alliance, who is another squad pretty much in that same position.
Yeah.
So they can't drop another match if they want to have a realistic shot at making it to TI on points. And I don't know about you guys, I would not want to play in this EU qualifier. Say what you will about the region.
I
This
don't
one
think,
spot.
I think let's be real. I don't think any team wants to play in the qualifier for their region, right? It's
Every
gonna be
team wants to just qualify
yeah,
points.
It's
That
all
would be
these teams
ideal.
playing for one spot. You have to win a tournament to get to TI. That alone is like the season is based around just being good enough, but you don't have to win. And then the final tournament is all about just winning the qualification. Liquid again. They realized how to beat Nigma. They want to have the big team fight, the anti-aggression. If you have these cute heroes that skirmish, we'll have the better team fight, we'll kill you once. And yeah, I think the key highlight from that previous game was simply Liquid's ability to contest that Roshan, prevent it from just quickly going away from them, and then, they were in a great spot.
Yeah, the Warlock Sand King, a very NA opener. This was quite popular back when I was still drafting often. Basically just damage. Fatal Bonds, Epicenter. Sand King is one of the more low damage offlaners, but a very reliable stun. You combine it with the Golem, you have that really easy catch, and then the team fight to back it up.
Epicenter might actually do damage now, Carl.
That's true.
Because Fatal Bonds helps with that.
Exactly. And suddenly you get a lot more luxury to draft heroes that, Warlock is just damage. Like, I think that people perennially underrate the impact of Fatal Bonds. It is truly Warlock's real ultimate. If you get one off the start of a fight, it hits 3 heroes.
Well, the last Fatal Bonds of that game was a 5-man. And
Yeah.
they went
You saw
100 to
they
0. They were like,
died.
boom, gone.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
I think, I don't know if it was hotfix, but I remember when Grimstroke had first come out, OG was playing it with Warlock and the double Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you could do it to Roshan too, so then you just do it on
that-
Roshan. They'd be like, oh, what, you're just taking Roshan? But we're dying, stop! Yeah, it was amazing.
That was
great.
hotfixed, I'm fairly certain, because
Yeah.
that was pretty absurd. The one thing, okay, we haven't seen it, and I don't think it's a bug. It might be, but it hasn't been fixed.
Uh-oh, Carl, and mechanics questions.
No. Phoenix,
Someone in the green room, get Dota open, please. Please fact
it's
check
only
him.
because I'm looking at the plushie, but Earth Spirit Ags can turn Phoenix Egg
Correct,
to
yes,
stone.
that is very true. That is 100% in the game.
And it
I
is
can confirm that.
so
don't worry.
crazy to watch.
Okay, so just in case people aren't aware, Earth for Ags, it turns an enemy or ally to stone. You can, surprisingly cast it on, like Carl just mentioned, the Phoenix Egg.
Can you do it on Tombstone too?
No,
Does that not
no,
count?
that's not a Tombstone's not a hero, Carl. Phoenix Egg is
Oh, true. Duh. Okay, never mind.
You okay there, Carl?
In my head,
Reel it
they're
back in.
conceptually like the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Hit-based structure
yes.
types. But yeah,
Dude,
you're right.
I can turn
Let's
my
move
ancient.
on. Let's
Imagine
talk
if you
about
could
the
turn
bans.
your ancient to stone and just boot it out of the That's how broken it is.
Well, you can
Carl.
Arc Warden bubble it.
Yeah, true.
I think that the one of these teams knows that mechanic well. That's another style of play I think that we might just not see out of Nigma unless they're willing to put Miracle on something like an Arc Warden. From what we've seen so far, he's the active playmaker. In a lot of ways, you look at what he's played, it feels a lot like he's just modeling his hero pool after Thompson. I never thought we would see a Miracle Pugna.
Did you think you'd see a Miracle Sand King?
No.
There we go. We're going down a new route, a new path. And we haven't mentioned it yet, but the Puck, of course, now because Nigma was first pick, Liquid had to opt out to ban the IO and the Beastmaster. Most of the top teams now banning out Beastmaster as a respect of how broken it is. I wouldn't be surprised if 7.29C was to come imminently, because it kind of... when that hero is so broken with the concept of axes, the drafting idea is kind of devalued, right? You're just automatically getting... Everyone has to ban Beastmaster because it is the only hero right now you could say is hardcore broken.
I like that.
Yep. This is... I think quite likely a Taiga hero.
Yeah.
It could also be core.
Sanking Mirana, for sure. Yeah, that's the lane.
Now we're really getting NA. You know, taking a page out of the book after the success of the major, perhaps. But this
second best region, yeah.
This is something that... Who is it? I mean, I've seen Taiga play it on stream constantly. He just goes for an Ags Rush. I think in this sort of game, Sand King might not go for a Solar Crest, so you'd go for it on the Mirana instead. But it provides a lot of nice utility, too. With a Golem, you're all about getting that right fight, and having what's effectively a free smoke every 2 minutes, thanks to the Mirana ulti, is really nice to try and play the map.
I think this pick's more about just like the laning pressure, right? It's the idea that when you have Sand King off lane, you need the right four to be with you, be it a Willow, be it the Mirana, be it something to apply pressure. Because if Nigma does go for that hard carry, and there's a weaker four being played, like they can't pick like an Earth for it here or something, you know, like this melee guy, because then it's a free game for RTW to pick anything he wants into free farm.
Cheever's pacing around the
I have got some steps to catch up on, okay, Kyle?
Ooh, I like this pick from Nigma. Gets rid of the fatal bonds that we've mentioned so many times.
So that's most likely going to be Kuro's hero, right?
Possible.
Yeah, but
I think a core... I actually prefer Core Abaddon in this kind of game because you welcome the stun arrow combination and you can remove it from an
And
ally.
also you're playing into the Warlock, right?
Yeah.
Warlock has a 5, doesn't really apply pressure, therefore a melee. Okay, yeah, and then now they pick up a PA, a more independent carry. That's the key thing.
I would prefer this to be a mind control offlane Abaddon.
And then have like a Tusk 5 with a range carry and then some...
Sure. The thing is, when you have Abaddon against Warlock, to your point, there's no pressure. You remove the Fatal Bonds or the offensive Shadow Word, so you can't actually take any pressure. You'd be 1v1 against this PA, and likely trade, and the 4 is then free to play the map as he wishes.
Yeah, it would be interesting if they were to, you know, Tusk 5, Abaddon offlane, ranged 4, apply some pressure to PA. But again, they could easily just leave this as a casual 5 Abaddon, because Sanking Mirana, that lane is completely deconstructed by the shield as well. So I think realistically, we're looking at
That's a good point.
The obnoxious mind control hero here to play with the Tusk and have kill threat.
That's a good point, because the thing is, in the event, you could see Nigma perhaps aggro tri-laning, right? Leave your Abaddon against the double stun, but you actually don't want to do that. Abaddon gets pretty bodied by a Sand King. The new Caustic's very strong. Love that pick.
Okay.
That is a potential 2 or 3. Very good against Sand King throughout the game. Can get pressured earlier on in the game.
This is just mind controls here. I think it's simply put, it's you play into the PA. Normally, Timbersaws get a little bit pressured by what the 5 brings, but again, we've mentioned Warlock defensive hero. It's going to be enabling the PA to exist. So yeah, this is going to be a Timbersaw, soon to be level 3 or 4. Tusk now opens up his game to start applying pressure across the map.
You banned the Viper here now. They banned Lone Druid. Okay, still respecting Team Liquid and Koifa's prowess. I'd be very afraid. I think Viper and Death Prophet would round out the Liquid draft quite nicely. For Nigma, you think you want a Miracle hero here then? Unless it's just Miracle Puck.
It might just be Miracle Puck.
Well, they need a carry. You know, they
because
still need
if you guys want to have Abaddon as a core...
No. So now it's simply ABBA 5 enabling a last pick or, you know, second to last pick carry for RTW. I think that's the key thing here. Active mid, really obnoxious off lane. Win condition now for RTW.
Maybe a troll. I'm thinking about later on in the game having because it's all about cleanses now. You want to ensure Liquid's lineup. It's all PA when we get to the later stages of the game, but their mid game, all the heavy lifting is going to have to be done by this 3-4-5 combination. The stun combo and the fatal bonds.
Any carry that can either disjoint that chain CC, because right now their stun is the perfect Burrow Strike into Arrow then Golem.
Yep.
It isn't easy, so
maybe a Slark.
Some Slark, some... Wait, Jug's banned, Lifesteal is banned.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Slark, Troll with Ags. You can dispel the Fatal Bonds.
Or any carry that wants to go BKB pretty quickly and be happy with that purchase. But Nigma need to pick first. They need to pick up the carry we're talking about.
I really like a Slark. It's just a bit spooky.
Ooh,
into
what
a
are we going
Sand
for?
King.
Troll.
There's the draw. Okay, yeah, that's fine. He's going to have said cleanse. Oh, wait. Does that? No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Troll's going to be a good hero. Strong laner. I was trying to do some 5-head stuff,
Yeah,
but
it's safer. It's
too
safer than
spontaneous.
Slark. The Troll can come online much faster. You can get more done with it. I think the laning phase is a bit stronger too. Slark gets pressured hard. Troll can just play range for him against the Sand King.
It's
No
actually
sweat.
quite an awkward PA game as well, because every single hero has a way to disrupt the PA from getting that instant kill.
Don't they Viper here though? Look at all the passives. they're
Viper
gonna
does look
disable.
very comfortable.
And doesn't it beat Puck in the lane pretty handily as well?
It's all about wave clear. Puck just can push up the lane, but
What will Quakefa play? That's the question.
I guess the issue with the Viper is simply they don't have the guy that connects on the lanes and make plays. But then again, they might be happy with that. I just feel when you have the off-lane pressure of the Timbersaw, the inability to pressure the Troll because you have Abaddon in 5, like you do want a more active style in mid.
Yeah, because otherwise the Puck's just free to move to either side lane.
Yeah.
Timber's always going to be just aggro. Troll's the same boat. It's a tough choice for
Maybe some a casual Void Spirit or something just to at least play into the Puck that well.
Some damage issues then. And at the moment, I'd be very afraid of BKB timings.
Yeah, it's a free Timber game in theory, right? You counter the PA, you don't care about this early damage. A casual Hood, you're in the good, so... Oh, okay, they actually go for the Pangolier, okay.
All right.
I mentioned this here in the previous game, but it is a hero that likes to play strong, annoying lane, but it plays aggressive. Oh, and it's actually off lane.
It's a Sand King mid.
Hey,
All right.
I love it.
I don't.
What? We saw Miracle crush with it against Team Secret just the other day. And they're like, you know what? We can do
Totally
that
different
too.
scenario here, though, Sheaves. He was playing with the Darkseer, and they had a draft that could play way more active. This is also a inferior matchup.
I do also want to point out that there will be a remake where you would assume they'd pick the same, but obviously there is still a chance that they don't pick the same.
Wait.
What?
Because they misclick, or?
No. There will be a remake that was already known before the draft was done. But, you know, they just picked a bunch of heroes, so they also knew that there was going to be a remake. So will the Sand King be in the hands of the Quakefa, or in the remake, will he pick Pango instead?
I see.
Is that some next level mind games that we just discovered? I mean, you can't really
I was
assume
very
that there will be
confused. I honestly thought you meant they're going to redo the draft, but you just mean the same 10 heroes in the game, the players picking said heroes might.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll see shortly, I guess, when that remake comes in.
I mean, we got a couple of minutes to talk about
I don't mind,
everything.
Yeah, I don't mind Sand King mid. I think into Puck. Like, Puck's just going to be annoying, but if you go for, casual Bracer, have some HP regen, you're playing inside the lane, you're a melee hero. Like, Puck loses to, for example, Void Spirit, Quelling Blade hero, Wave Clear. What does Sand King have? Wave Clear? Okay, he's melee. He's going to buy Quelling Blade. He's going to be all right. So I don't mind that mid matchup at all. It is simply the how do they deal with the Timbersaw, applying that pressure, and PA eventually does kind of an awkward game, not being able to jump a Timbersaw or an Abaddon or a Puck.
I worry about
So who is he going to jump?
He's just going to watch. He's like, go on, guys, you got this. But it is a difficult PA game for the
cheerleader.
essence of he doesn't have the Oracle to jump and kill, right? Literally every hero on Nigma's side has a natural way independently to kind of go away, PA, shoo.
Yeah.
They also have potential Axe Coil timing where you just remove, like Sand King, PA, Pangolier all have, root preventable. How do I phrase this? All of them are screwed against root.
Yeah, that works, yeah.
They can't buy BKB if it's an Axe Coil. So there's one item for 4,200 gold. Just effectively removes all the versatility and mobility of the liquid cores. I don't know how you fight into that if there's then a BKB troll running at your face.
So both of you are thinking we are going to see a third game, so I'm not too sad about that. But is that the right summary to draw here?
Yeah, well, Nigma has very good heroes against kind of the core matchups, for sure, from Liquid. But I like the confidence that Liquid has in some of the comfort picks. Like, for example, we're going back to the Boxy Pangolier. If that is him picking the hero and it's not some weird mind game.
I mean, I am...
Yeah, but, alas, if it is Boxy, like we just saw him play Slardar. He's one of the best Slardars in the world, easily. And then Pangolier, he was one of the few players that really kind of popularized it when it first came out, and he showcased. So it is refreshing to see Liquid playing on these heroes, and I like the essence of anti-aggression, heroes that play well into defensive engagements pre-20 minutes that have some scaling point. Like you mentioned, of course, Puck is very good. But yeah, if Liquid, they outmaneuver like they did in game 1, then they have the recipe to...
They land a bunch of arrows, is what he's saying.
Well, it's a burrow into an arrow, you know?
Well, no, you can land them blind. You know, I think that...
So an arrow into a burrow,
land an arrow.
It's unconventional.
I mean, it's Taiga. Surely he can land some strong arrows.
We'll see. That's like that's the thing. That's pretty much all they have to do stuff on the map. Like in theory, the Sand King can rotate around, but PA is going to be somewhat passive. We can expect to see the Battle Fury build. There's no built-in steroid for him in this game. Insania is on Warlock. It's just great in team fights, not so good outside of that.
Sorry, I just wrote down wrong that Insania was playing Sand King. I got very confused there.
Mid Warlock?
No, what?
No, I just thought I'd just try and play the game. No, it's fine. I was just testing you.
We talked earlier about how fast we wanted Team Nigma to play. We saw them playing super fast against Team Secret. That was the way to win. That was like we talked to Kuro, like their new style that they want to play. Can they play that style this time around?
Yeah, for sure. They do have heroes that quickly become tanky and can play into cooldowns once again. It's just, do they actually play as 5? Because in the first game, they never really hit a timing of, oh, we're together now, let's go exert our draft dominance or our power spike into our opponent. So that never really came into play. And look at GH. Yeah. He just wants to play some Dota.
Yeah. I think the big difference is that as the game continues, I think Nigma's going to get stronger.
For sure, yes.
Troll's a very good matchup against the PA. Again, the impossible to counter Puck Coil. And this time with the Abaddon, they have a way to remove Fatal Bonds. Because in the previous game, if you saw 3 or 4 heroes affected, you can't take that fight anymore as Nigma. You had to just do your best to get the hell out of dodge. In this case, I think they'll have better team fight. I think that they're also going to be playing with mind control in a significantly better situation. So it's kind of it to me. Liquid, it's all Morana. Like Taiga needs to have 9 to 10 kill participated in by like 12 minutes.
Wow, that's a big ask, but if anybody can do it, it probably is Taiga. We're going to find out this game. Who is going to take it? Will we see a third game? I certainly hope so. I know a lot of you guys are with me as well, and I know 2 people would also love to see a third game because that means they get to cast more of this awesome Dota. Let's head over to Cap and Fog.
Yes, thank you. I'm actually glad we had a remake there. I was crunching the numbers here. I actually wanted to count up the series that they've had since, the old Nigma ended up leaving the Liquid organization. Liquid got picked up, etc. 10-7 series-wise to Nigma's favor.
30 seconds.
But they are actually 22-19 to Nigma's favor. So game-wise, it's even closer.
Oh, that's a good stat, Cap. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I just know that these teams have gone back and forth for quite some time, and Liquid may have the chance to be able to reach a 2-0 here, but it's going to be off the back of some interesting stuff, Vogged. They're going to be trying out the mid Sand King that Liquid have already done and succeeded with. I always feel like that's a little questionable. They are going to be giving up first blood here as Insania is 100% blocked in.
Give it to LTW, who's also started with an Orb of Venom. Bit of an interesting pickup on that Troll Warlord. I guess they're probably maybe just going to tri-lane or something here at the start, and then GH going to move around with boots. Also, skilled shards, level 1, so a little bit of a difference there. And yeah, that Sand King mid, I've seen a lot more rise of it in pubs as well. But in the matchup that we saw Miracle do so well, he was versus Void Spirit, and he crippled the Void Spirit the whole game, and he had the combo of the Dark Spirit. And he was versus PL as, oh my god.
Taiga died as his TP was completing, so he just lost his TP. He's going to have to do the Walk of Shame back. Boxy's going to be left alone. Oh, this cannot start off worse for Liquid.
Nope. And GH immediately just swinging around the map. And yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering how Koikfa's really going to do this.